Hey everybody, in today's video we get started putting the rear suspension back into the FRS, all the new components. This video, I'll warn you, is a little bit longer than previous videos. There's a lot of content to get through here, but to stick with it if you are hoping to see all the details. I think it is fairly interesting for those who like the ins and outs of, or the struggles of putting something back together that you're doing for the first time. Otherwise, feel free just to skip along and get to the content that you're interested in and bypass the rest. So have a look. Thanks. So it looks like we have to drill out the top hats because the Koni shocks, this is a 12mm thread and the stock ones were 10mm, so the hole's not big enough. Watch some YouTube. And that's what someone else did, so we're gonna do that. Beauty. Sharp drill bits are the best. We'll just test to see if that fits. Beauty. He's in. Okay, we'll do that on the other top hat when we get it undone. Okay, trying this again. The bump stuff goes on. There's a bit of a shoulder here, but we've learned that you just kind of force it over, so that's what we'll do. That was a lot easier than the first time I tried. Okay, again, we have the plastic washer going on first, then the bump stop, then the springs, then the dust cover for the cylinder, and then we have the top hat. Again, we'll try and position it so that it is lined up. And then Justin, I'll hold this down if you can thread on the nut to get us started. Beauty. And then we'll grab the nut, or the, oh yeah, we probably have to get a different wrench for this too. There's a wrench. Okay, we're tightening these. Alrighty, she is on, ready to rock.
How do you feel with the torque specs on that?
The torque is as torqued as it'll go with my strength without breaking something. How do you feel about that torque spec?
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
Problem with these things, you can't really...
If I come over and
So actually, you know what you can? If you, yeah, you should feel it, but also we could get an adapter and put a small torque wrench on this hex, and then we could probably torque it if they've given us a spec.
They do give us specs.
The thing is, it's actually hard to torque these because of how it's designed. If you put a socket over this, you can't hold on to it in order to actually counter the force. It's just gonna spin, so it's pretty backwards if you ask me. See, if you go to turn that, this whole thing just wants us to spin. So you can't really do it like they're saying in the instructions here, where it's like get a wrench around the base and get a wrench around that. Yeah, that's not possible here.
How do you get a wrench around the base?
So the only thing we can do is with an open wrench, hold it like that, and then torque the body, which isn't typically what you're torquing, but it should be pretty close. So why don't you give that a shot? Beauty. Yeah, and that one can go in, they're universal, so go in either side. Okay, we are gonna now install the new strut in the wheel well, and we're gonna just have it so that the label is out so that we can conveniently look at it in the future. From there, pass it to Justin. He's gonna feed it up in there. If you can find the holes, I got the nuts in here. It's close. Yep, the one side is in, both sides are in. One, it's my light on here. Okay, great. We can probably just let it hang there loosely, it's totally fine. Gives us a bit of play to work with now when we get it back on the control arm. Looks good. It goes up in there, yeah. And we get a bolt. There you go. I don't know which side I come from. Doesn't matter. Okay, it's all a little loose right now. You can rotate this so that you can get it in your bracket however you need to. So that's all we've done. So we'll kind of just maybe get it set there. Well, I guess we should worry about getting the bolting because it might not be easy to get in later. So I think it's the longest bolt. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna have.
Okay, longest bolt that goes in next. Put it in the same way. Actually, we might even just we can compress this up with the jack, yeah, and get everything in place. So that's what we should probably do, because we're not gonna move it much with our hands. Position a jack. I'm going to lift this up until it lines up with the knuckle. Put a bit of block here to help me out a little bit on the jack so that I have enough range of movement. Actually, it might not be enough, but we're gonna try and see what happens. It just compresses everything until it's roughly lined up. Right about there. And then I'm gonna put this in a different way. It's easier to go in from that side. Yes, the jack is at its range limit, so it starts to leak a bit. Right, and that's sufficient. Nothing needs to be tight. We just wanted to get everything in place. You can see with this slot here, that'll give us some camber adjustment, or camber and toe adjustment.
For those of you who have done this modification before, you'll notice that I forgot to install the new camber bolt in that location.
We're not replacing that though.
Boom. That's a good point. I made an assumption that may not be right.
This one, right? I thought this one. Am I wrong?
You could be right. I think you are right. Because that has a joint. This one doesn't have a joint. No!
You can delete the footage, it's fine.
Okay, so I mistakenly took a control arm. I didn't need to. I'm actually meant to take out this one and replace it with this control arm, which actually has a bolt in one spot that I'm not sure what it does. That's interesting. Anyways, let's get started. Joint knuckle, are you?
Yeah.
Ouch. Nope. I said ouch, but I didn't hurt myself. It was a lie. Okay, I'm just gonna try give it a little knock first. Yeah, I was gonna say take this out before taking out that. It doesn't really matter, but it's a little bit more stable with it connected. I usually don't like hitting these too hard because I don't want to mess up the thread for getting it back on. So I'll give it a little shot. Loosen it up in there. Not really going though. Try hit it with some WD maybe. And then we'll get the little puller out. Bit of a puller tool. We'll just try and get around the joint here and then drive it out. The trick with these is getting them everything to stay aligned without yanking the mechanism off. Woo!
Does that work?
Yep.
Oh wow.
Perfect.
I did not know that was gonna happen.
Yeah, well, it always makes laugh. I didn't warn you of the bang.
No, that's probably fun something.
Okay, removing the first bolt of this adjustment arm. So I guess because this arm is adjustable, this SBC control arm, you don't need to control the camber so much with the camber bolt because you can make this as long as short as you need to. Doink. Okay, here comes out. All right, and I'm gonna try as a starting place just to match up these two arms in length, so that when Justin drives home, the car feels okay. Oh yeah, there's quite a lot of a lengthening. So, looking at the starting position of these two control arms, this one starts off like an inch shorter, which obviously we don't want. So I will lengthen it to be about the same. Looks to be about the same to me. And there's a locking nut. After you make your length adjustment, you lock it with the nut. And I'll tighten it with something proper here. Okay, I'm just tightening this down, keeping it relatively straight. We're locking in the length for now. During the alignment that we get done at Aria with Billy, he will make an adjustment to that, but for now that's where we are going to set it. Yes, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we can adjust it later still, because the ball joint will take up some. So yeah, we'll put these on the same way. I'm going to position the this thing upwards. I don't actually know what it's used for. I have no idea what it's used for. Maybe on certain cars there's something ties into there, like an electrical line, but on your card, I don't see anything. Again, back to the instructions that were included in the kit. I didn't see anything. They should tell us something to do with that, so we should maybe have a quick peek. Put this back in. We have the big king bolt. Went in there. You know what I didn't also do, Justin, which would have been, I think, a smart thing to do, is I didn't take note of the position that the camber bolt was in to start off with.
Yeah.
Although I can look at it. Actually, we can kind of tell from where it's sitting now. I'm not gonna tighten it too much. I'm just kind of gonna. There's lots of room, so I don't want to load up the rubber bushing at all, so where it's twisting. Yeah, we still got plenty of room. Okay, that's kind of like right the perfect amount. Okay.
Well, you got it.
And then we put in the bolt. Or the nut. I say nut and bolt interchangeably. And then we'll tighten that down before and then I'm gonna put my other arm back that I took out unnecessarily.
Well, I think things a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. Now, which bolt did I have go through here? Okay. Oh yeah. Look at all that adjustment in tow. And then before we get anything tightened down, what we'll do is we'll actually go under it with the jack like you're doing and get it loaded up to neutral, where it picks the car up off the jack. And then we'll tighten all the bushings, or tighten all the bolts for the control arms, which that'll set the position for all the bushings. To jack up the one suspension only to the point at which it lifts off of the axle jacks or the axle stands. The reason we do that is you don't want to pre-tension the rubber bushings. So what happens if you tighten all the connections of the control arms, it squeezes that control arm, and then the rubber bushings are engaged and they will get stressed as soon as you actually load up the suspension. You want that there to be no stress at the point at which the car is resting normally, and you only want that stress to be applied when the suspension is going up or down as the car naturally travels. Okay, let's go there. It's pretty close to neutral. Now we'll go to all the bolting points and we'll just tighten them up. Visualize a center line, vertical center line through these, and then look over here, the vertical center line through that. Probably what's neutral is somewhere in the middle of this. So we could just shoot for that instead of right at the very end like I did with the other side. And that would be closer to, but definitely in this position, there's gonna be a lot of toe out. I don't know who would want that. That'd be pretty aggressive. But probably right there is where you could set it without it being too much toe in. Yeah, a little bit. About the bolts inside the trunk. Tighten them up now. These are holding the top of the strut. So since we're probably done in the trunk, I will put the body panels back on. So once again, we got a bit hasty and didn't check the box to see what other kind of stuff we have. And we have some camber adjustment bolts which need to go into the end of this control arm. As you can see, we have a lot of slot here, and the cams for the camber bolts, they sit in nicely up against the shoulders, so you definitely know they are meant to be there. So we'll apply those now. So we'll go flat side like that. So we're gonna have to push down a bit on the beauty. So put these in on the same way on your other side. So down. Just keep turning it now. You want that to be mostly over there. Like not 100%. Like 100%'s there. We kind of had it a little less. Let's try that. Sway bar end links are going to go inside, inside the strut. Sorry, inside the strut, it's not right. Inside the control arm, they fit in here. They've given us these shoulders so that it better distributes the load on the side face here. So we might as well position those, and then we can position the bar itself using the same brackets, but the new bushings. We'll put the brackets here, so these just fit in over top. Once we slide these guys on, you're splitting these? They better be. Good. So we'll lubricate those up with these first. In the meantime, you can go ahead and get these slipped in. We'll adjust the length afterwards and tighten them.
These ones here.
Yeah, I'm not tempted to put on those washers, to be honest with you.
You are, or you?
I'm not. I might put on one between. I'm not going to tighten it too much yet until we get it all in. But that's enough to kind of hold it in place. Okay, might as well lubricate up our bushings.
It goes on the other side of the on the other side of the exhaust. It goes through.
Oh.
Also, is the bar upside down? Do you see how it says Eibach?
Yeah.
Can I be annoying and ask if that goes the right side?
Totally. Thank you for noticing it. That would have been so annoying if we got that hooked up.
Like, no.
Oh man, that would have been so annoying. Like, ah!
I have to come this way a little bit more first.
Okay.
And then I can go back at you. I just have to clear this.
Yeah, I'm trying to clear it. I'm over it now myself. And it's like, it's
so annoyingly close.
It's so, or we can just zip that off with the ankle grinder. Figure it out.
You figured it out?
Yeah.
No way.
No, it's like, here's what I did. So it was out. Right, we couldn't get it to go, so I just went.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And when it goes, it's like, what? How did that not
Work.
How did that just not happen when we were playing with it? That's what I don't understand. For doing up the bracket, the bushings supplied with the sway bars, they're quite thick. They have quite a thick base, which you can kind of see here. And it really forces the bracket that way further. So our bolts aren't even long enough to do up. And so we are thinking that the whole thing has to compress, which is fine, but it's not that easy to compress it. So hopefully these new bolts will allow us to get it going, and then we can just further tighten them to get the whole thing to compress. So we'll see. Okay, quick update on this bar. So as you can see, the new bushing is very tall, and when we use the OE bracket, the threads on the bolts hardly get through, and so we have to put a lot of pressure on this bar just to tighten it down properly. So with extra bar pressure, it's extra resistance on the sway bar, which doesn't allow it to rotate easily, which isn't great for, I mean, it acts as a damper, and so it's dampening as well as the strut is dampening, which isn't fantastic for trying to figure out how to adjust your system and performance. Together, if the bar and the strut is giving the perfect dampening for the spring choice and your tire choice, that's great. But it just typically you don't want dampening in your bar. You just want that to be translated and forced across. So, anyways, we'll have to just play with it over the next while. Maybe we'll put some spacers in here so it doesn't tighten the bar down too much. We'll talk to our man Billy over Daria to figure out what we should do. Okay. What we learned about a week later was that there was a stiffener bracket that was mounted to the face of the bracket, and that was causing the bushing to sit a little further away from the original stock location. So when we went for the alignment, we resolved all that and got everything to fit nicely. I actually don't have the kind of articulation that I thought we'd have here.
What's the point? White line? What is the hecking point? Oh, mine's stuck on the...
It might have been easier to actually... Oh man.
Mine's stuck on the...
I hate to tell you this, but we might have to undo this lower bolt again. It doesn't rotate there, and to get it in without pivoting like a ball joint is super tricky.
It goes up.
Okay, we're gonna have to undo the bolts here and take this out. We're gonna have to put it in here first, and then we're gonna have to lower it down there, and then it'll all be good.
This is one, but you're talking.
I mean, no. If we put it in, it would line up straighter if we put it in the close hole.
Do you mind if we just do that for today?
No, I don't mind. Decided to use the other hole for mounting the sway bar end link in. We couldn't quite get it to this lower bolt into the end link because it doesn't articulate at the bottom. It's a bushing, so it's a rubber bushing, so there is some articulation in it like a ball joint because it's rubber, but it's not true rotation. So it was very, very stiff when it wasn't perfectly lined up. Basically wants to treat it like this thing rotates axially. So we had to go to this other hole, and we'll just do that for now, and we'll reconsider it, changing it to the other hole if it feels like it's not performing like it should. Okay, we're gonna put on the rear rotors, or I'll try to line these up with the existing holes as they were before, which is about there and there. So we have everything back together. As you can see, We're gonna put the wheels back on and drive around the neighborhood a little bit just to make sure it's all feels good, and then Justin's gonna go home. But everything went back smoothly, except for, of course, the sway bars, which we do have some questions about, but we'll get our man Billy to check on things for us there. Otherwise, good day. Next video, we are gonna be probably at Billy's in his shop and doing the alignment there, so you get to meet him. He's an awesome guy.
Do you think Billy will be on camera?
I'm gonna ask him to be on camera. Do you think he'll be willing to be on camera?
I hope so. We all love Billy.
Me too. All right, we'll see you guys later.